Coming to you from a wrong turn off Route 66. Somewhere in the Sonoran Desert, it's James Out West, featuring Ryan Rooks.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, James Out West, November 11th, 2020. Well, last week was an exciting week of football, all the way from Thursday night, Green Bay Packers laying the wood.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. Oh, sorry. Oh, that's
it was rough.
That's right.
And then I had to go back home to all my uncles who are Raiders fans and hear it all weekend long. So, no, it was a rough weekend.
Well, the Raiders barely got out of that game.
Hey.
What an unbelievable ending to a game. The Chargers-Raiders game.
Oh, my
To
goodness.
watch the guy, and it was the right call. He did drop it.
He did.
But for
excitement.
for
Oh,
everybody
man.
to put the ball where he did, for them to come back the way that they did in that shootout forward, it was awesome.
The defense on him
It was
he
awesome.
hit it right perfectly.
He put it right where it needed to be. The guy made a heck of a catch. He just didn't hold on to it at the end, and the refs got it right.
Yeah, I agree.
After further review. So the week was good. We'll talk about how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers cost me $1,200 on a parlay bet because they can't score 14 friggin' points.
That was ugly.
But that's neither here nor there. We are here for week 10 of the NFL season.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow night's game, the Indianapolis Colts coming off a victory against the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Matty Stafford ended up leaving anyways.
Yeah.
But
Under concussion protocol?
yeah, I believe so. Tennessee come away from a almost being beat by the Bengals.
Who do we have last week? I didn't see. Man, I missed half of these names. Where are we at?
Chicago, my bad.
There you go.
They won, they didn't, and they did cover. This is in Tennessee. Before the season started, everybody thought Tennessee was going to be really good. They had like one bad game. I still believe in them. I don't believe in Phillip Rivers.
Don't?
Are you surprised by that?
I am.
No, I don't believe in Phillip Rivers.
Okay.
They say T.Y. Hilton's going to play.
Yeah.
I don't know that they know their identity of their team, but I sure as hell know that Mike Vrabel and the Tennessee Titans know their identity, and that's defense and Smash Mouth and King Henry, so I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans minus the 1 point. Right now it's a pick'em game, but it was -1 when we looked at this.
I think this is going to be one of the most exciting Thursday night games. This could be a playoff picture. I mean,
Could be, absolutely.
This is going to change the division for them.
Yep. It's a big game.
As much as I want to pick Tennessee, they're still off to me, and I'm going to trust more in the Colts D. I'm going to go with the Colts.
All right. See, the first pick out the gate, we don't agree. Love it. All right. Now, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Stank-ass team of the week.
Yes.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in my opinion, only because they did cost me. Ladies and gentlemen, I had these over-under bets. I had all 5 of them hit, including the Pittsburgh game at under 44. They scored 43. All I needed was Tampa Bay to show up, and they didn't. Unbelievable. So, with that being said, I'm taking Tampa Bay this week. I think everybody's in love with what Carolina did in Kansas City last week. They're not going to have Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, it seems
They're
he's
getting
out.
5.5. I think Tampa's pissed. I don't think that they're going to come off of back-to-back weeks in division and lose. I just don't think that's going to happen. For that fact alone, I'm taking Tampa Bay.
I don't like that they are using the same game plan, like the back-to-back games. They're not being coached correctly. They had so many other opportunities, and they should let Tom be making some more calls.
There you go.
100%. They should have ran with that game last week. Again, with that being said, Christian McCaffrey being out, if he was in, I might be a little bit more swayed, but I'm still going to take Tampa Bay. I don't think they're going to lose.
You know, when Peyton Manning left Indy and went to Denver, they ran Peyton Manning's offense.
Right.
And because he let Peyton run the offense and he knew what he could do well, he looked great for 3 out of the 4 years he was there.
And he managed the game because he could do it that way with his
Tom
defense.
should be doing the same thing,
Right.
and they're not doing that. I don't know how long it's going to take for them to figure that out,
And
but
Bruce
they don't
Arians
have a
is-
lot of time.
And Bruce Arians is calling people out, which some people like, some people don't. I don't know. I think they got to get it right.
I don't mind him calling it out as long as he can look himself in the mirror and say, yeah, it's also your fault.
Correct. I agree.
So, all right, moving on.
All right.
Oh, boy. The NFC least, again, the Philadelphia Eagles are at the New York G-Men. These are two bad football teams. I don't know how else to put this. Philly found a bright spot in that receiver, Fordham. They've had injuries, get by guys back, then back to injuries. Carson Wentz, meh. Danny Dimes, meh.
Doug Peterson,
meh. So plus 3.5. The Giants. Giants have been scoring points. I will say that. Giants have been scoring points.
They're looking a little bit better.
Oh, boy. I would not bet this, and I'm not betting this week, ladies and gentlemen, but I will take Philly on the road just because I feel like they have more leftover quality players from a Super Bowl era and some veteran leadership that can get them through a mucky game potentially in New York.
Yeah.
I feel like the Giants are trying to be competitive, but they don't want to win too much because I don't know if they think Danny Dimes Jones is the answer. So I'll take Philly.
I initially picked the Giants, and just off of my gut feeling, and the more I thought about it and just thinking about it, this is one of those games that Philly is going to show up. They need to, especially in division. I think I'm going with Philly with the points.
All right. So now the Jacksonville Jaguars are at the Green Bay Packers. Now this is interesting because the Green Bay Packers are minus 13. That's a lot of points.
Yeah.
Green Bay can put up points. We've seen this.
Yep.
Jacksonville stinks. They can put up points. Green Bay is susceptible to giving up points, so it should be a high-scoring affair.
Would think.
With that being said, 13 is a lot of points.
Yeah.
But it also is Aaron Rodgers. As I'm saying this, I'm talking myself into taking Green Bay.
You think they're going to win by 2 touchdowns?
Man, I tell you what, looking at what the public is doing against that game when it comes to the spread, I like to take a look at, see where the public is on it.
Yeah.
And I feel like 56% of the money is on Green Bay. So some people are fading the fact that it's a 13-point spread. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to take Green Bay minus 13. That's a big spread. It
is a big spread, but I think Green Bay needs this game. They want to put that throttle down. I think they're going to go full speed. I would take Green Bay with this. It's a big spread, but Jacksonville's just not playing right, and I think Green Bay's on the up. I'm going to trust in Aaron Rodgers.
All right, so now this next game, Houston scored a lot of points last week. Houston stinks. They're in disarray, total dysfunction.
Yeah.
That's exact kind of team that beats the Cleveland Browns in most years. And this could be the same year.
Yeah.
It's in Cleveland. Cleveland's -3. The money's basically 50-50.
You got Nick Chubb coming back?
Got Chubb coming back. You're coming off a bye. This is where a well-coached big boy team beats a team you're supposed to, which is what they've done all year.
Yeah.
They beat every team they're supposed to and lost the teams that they're not supposed to beat. With that being said, I'm not betting this game because I've learned my lesson to never bet on the Cleveland Browns in real life, but I would take Cleveland -3.
I'm surprised by that because I'm actually really excited. I think this is going to be, when you guys have Nick Chubb and Hunt, you guys have the best running game.
Absolutely.
And if you guys can play that and use your outside weapons, and if Baker Mayfield can just plant his feet correctly to throw the dang ball, I think you guys hands down win this game. I would bet this.
See, and then you sound like all those other suckers out there. No,
I mean, you know him as much as I don't necessarily trust in Cleveland, but I think that this game they could.
If I wasn't a Browns fan, I would probably bet this game.
Okay.
But looking at it now and knowing what I know, I'd rather them win and know that I didn't
because you're
bet.
a Browns fan.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can't do it.
Because if you do it, then it's not going to happen.
Thank you. Reverse
But
psychology.
so
reverse.
So you're welcome.
Reverse psychology.
You're
yes,
welcome.
Yes. Or maybe I'm not one.
We'll find out.
All right, so this next game doesn't even have point spread. They didn't put a spread out there yet because of Washington at Detroit.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of question marks up in the air.
Don't know if Stafford's going to play.
So
I bet he does.
Let's say Matt Stafford. Let's go this way. Matt Stafford doesn't play, and it's going to be whoever the backup is, and I don't even know who that is, versus Washington's backup, which would be Alex Smith, I guess, getting ready for the week.
Yeah, Alex Smith's starting.
So Alex Smith, the starter at Detroit.
And man, did you see that? Poor Allen. Yeah, that sucks, but
Local kid.
it now back to Alex Smith.
I think Washington. So the caveat is if Matt Stafford starts, I think Matt Stafford can get the win. If Matt Stafford doesn't start, I'm taking Alex Smith getting his first start since the tragic injury that he had.
Yeah.
Again, don't know the point spread. My guess is it's going to be 3.5 either way, based on who the quarterback's in.
I completely agree. I take, if Stafford plays, I take Detroit. If Stafford's out, I'm taking Washington. I think there's just that much of a difference.
Now, this next game
It's going to be interesting.
is going to be very interesting. This might be the game of the week. The Buffalo Bills, the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
Cardinals coming off of a very tough loss against Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins. A close game. Was a really awesome game to watch.
Buffalo
Kyler
coming
Murray
in off of a huge first half.
Yes.
Huge game, but man.
Buffalo slapped Seattle in the mouth.
Yes, they did.
Over and over and over again. They were all over Russ.
I felt bad. I was listening to that on the radio driving back. I felt bad listening to it. Oh, man. It just sounded bad. I didn't even get to see the whole thing, but oh, my goodness.
Buffalo looked real deal. So, to me, I think this is a game for each one. Buffalo wins. They are considered a contender in the AFC because Arizona is a quality opponent.
Yeah.
If Arizona can win, and they're a -2 favorite at home off the loss they just had with the wins they've put together in the NFC, this was a statement game for them to say that they're a contender.
Yep. This is going to be an exciting QB matchup, too. I think this.
Absolutely.
It'll be fun.
Absolutely. All the money in Vegas right now is on Buffalo at +2, +2.5, depending on where you're betting. I bought into that early odds when I first saw it on Tuesday. I was like, okay, I could see that. Buffalo, wow, they're getting points. They just had that big win.
Yeah.
But even though Arizona lost to Miami, and a good Miami Dolphins team is 5-3, ladies and gentlemen, the Miami Dolphins are 5-3.
With an amazing defense and well-coached team.
Who's to say that they're not making the playoffs? Especially if they expand the playoffs like they're talking about, and we'll get into that later.
Yep.
I'm going to take the home team. I'm going to take Kyler Murray. I'm going to take that offense. I'm going to take Budda Baker. I'm going to take Pat P doing what needs to be done to shut down Buffalo. When I say shut down, I think it's going to be a tight game, and they're both going to score above 25. But I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals.
I really like Arizona, but I'm taking Buffalo. After seeing what they did last week, Josh Allen is looking like he did in those first 2 or 3 weeks when we were talking about MVP stuff.
Yep.
Those numbers, what he put up, like
415 and 4.
4 touchdowns. I mean, and I'm going to take Buffalo with the points.
Okay. I've made that bet already. I took Buffalo with the points already early on. I wanted to get that, but I think I could see it either way. That's what makes it tough. But seeing that all the public money's on Buffalo from a betting standpoint, I'm going to play the fade. Yeah,
I get it.
Denver at the Raiders.
Yes.
Now the Raiders, like we said, heck of a game, snuck away with a victory because a guy dropped the ball, but it was a close back and forth game. It was an awesome game. Denver not backing down, getting almost blown out by the Chargers to come back and win, to almost getting blown out by the Atlanta Falcons and cutting it to a 1-score game with the ball with a chance to tie the game.
Drew Lock and Judy looked good in that game.
Yeah, 2 good young parts. Let's see how they progress.
I agree.
At the Raiders are right in the thick of things in the AFC for the playoffs.
Yep.
They're a -5 favorite in this game. I, again, have not picked this game yet. I'm going to roll with the hot hand of the Raiders. I think both teams are going to score, though.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't
would
be
agree.
surprised if Denver covers because they seem to do that because 5's a wanky number. But I'll take the Raiders in 5 because I think that they win by 10.
I expect the Raiders to win. The interesting is going to be the cover with that 5 points. Like you said, it's a different number. I'm going to go with the Raiders. I think that they're looking good. As good as Denver is, I think there's more weapons with the Raiders.
Agreed. Especially if they can get Henry Ruggs going again. You know, that deep threat, he is such a difference maker. Hasn't been a difference maker in the last couple of games. Well, I can't speak from last game because I didn't see the stat line, but it seems like he would make 1 or 2 big plays that would flip the... And that's what they haven't had. So once that comes back in the fold, they'll be right in the mix as they are. All right.
Yes.
The Los Angeles Chargers, who find more ways to lose.
Oh, man.
But if anything tells you is they can play, they can score. When their defense gets back and being healthy, they figure out the coaching situation, the quarterback gets a couple more years, they're going to be good.
They're going to be good. Herbert is good, but they're just not closing out games.
Nope. And this is...
Tua looked good.
Tua did.
Tua did a little bit more than he did in his first game.
Yes, he did.
He still looked good.
He took some hits. He probably should slide more, but, that's okay.
He's young. He's all right.
It's in Miami. Miami coming off of a emotional hard, heavy road victory.
Big win.
-2.5 at home. I think they're feeling the juice.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Dolphins -2.5. It's at home. I think the Chargers are in games, don't win games, like we've seen.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers pull this game.
Yeah,
off.
100%. I wouldn't be surprised by it. Most of these games really could go either way this week.
Yes.
Really, they could go either way this week, which makes it even that much harder. But I will take the Dolphins in this game.
I'm going to take who I think is going to be the coach of the year, and Brian Flores.
Okay.
I'm going to take Miami.
All right.
I think he
absolutely could be the coach of the year.
You see with what he did last year when they were talking about tanking for Tua, and they did well, and it still ended up getting Tua. You know, they closed out at the end of the year. And I think that they're very, very well coached. I think Tua looks good. Their defense looks amazing. I'm taking Miami.
All right. All right, now.
Oh, man.
San Francisco 49ers at New Orleans. New Orleans coming off of that huge victory, probably feeling themselves a little bit, but they are up and down. They are -9.5. San Francisco +9.5. Everybody that was on the COVID list last week won't be on it this week. They should be healthier, right? Should they not be healthier?
We should be, but we're still having people. It's
9.5. It's a lot of points.
Yeah. But Mullins, man, I believe in Mullins, but he looked scared last week, and just the turnovers killed us. New Orleans looks good, and they're running. Kamara looks amazing. Like, they got their stuff together, and as much as I hate to go against my Niners, I'm definitely taking New Orleans in this. I think that's a lot. We are depleted.
Man, I kind of want. Oh man, let me ask this: what if that point spread was 11.5 or 12?
If it was 12, I might take the Niners. But
Okay.
but we got destroyed last week. And I think New Orleans is even stronger than Green Bay.
Yeah. Do you think last week's Sunday night game, huge victory on the road, takes anything off of this in
No.
New Orleans for New Orleans?
No, they've won 5 in a row.
Yeah, they haven't lost since Green Bay.
The only team that's won more is Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So I think they stay rolling. We're too hurt. We just don't have the weapons. I think we're well coached. Too many of our big weapons are out, and we don't even know what quarterback we want or who we have.
I would take New Orleans at 9.5. In Vegas, you can pump the bet. I pumped it to 12, and I took San Francisco. I'm like 12 points. That's a lot of points. I just don't know. This could be one of those games where they score 14 points and they kind of bleed the clock.
Correct.
So it's hard to say. I don't think they expected to score 28 points last week in the first half. I think they just punched Tampa Bay in the mouth that it was like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah, but I still think that they're going to put up points against it. I think I would definitely say at least 12, if not 14 points.
Wow. Okay. Well, we will see.
Yeah.
All right. So now the Cincinnati Bengals at the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Steelers are only a touchdown favorite.
Yep.
Is that because Big Ben was in COVID protocol?
So
He's out now.
5 people supposedly on
Is
COVID, but
that,
they didn't get COVID. They're
no.
just on.
And is that Vegas pumping the number? Because that's kind of disrespectful to Pittsburgh, considering Cincinnati's won like one game.
Yeah.
Cincinnati does score points. Their defense is a little opportunistic, but that's kind of a slap in the face to me for Pitt.
I think so too.
And I don't think they look at point spreads, but I think coaches know, and I think they're like, oh, really? We're going to get disrespected like that? We're going to go hang 21 on them real quick. I'd take Pitt -7.
I wouldn't be surprised. You look at
Especially after last week.
what Mike Tomlin does with the defense, and you see how many times Burrow throws. He's throwing, 30, 35,
40 50 times,
40
yeah.
games a game. He's going to have at least 2 interceptions, I bet you.
Absolutely.
I would not be surprised if defense scores at least a pick 6. I think Pittsburgh, hands down, has this game. I think this is one of the easier picks of the week.
What's funny is the money is 50-50. It's split down the middle, 50-50 on the point spread. Looking at it right now, that's incredible. So people are fading that. What that tells you is the public believes a lot of what they saw last week.
Yeah,
and they saw Steelers struggle with the Cowboys through 3 quarters.
But they came off of 3 tough games.
Absolutely.
They know what they needed to do. I don't look at that as that. They definitely played down to that level. And I told you that if Dallas ran it, so like that's the only way they stayed in that game. But at the same point, that's not who Pittsburgh is. They took that.
And Cincinnati's not going to be the team. Cincinnati's not going to be the team that makes the Steelers 8-1. So
not that right.
I like that pick.
Yeah.
All right, now the next game, Seattle coming off of that huge loss on the road in Buffalo, getting smacked around, getting dragged around.
So many turnovers.
The Raider or at the Los Angeles Rams. -1.5 for the Rams. Rams coming off a bye, rested up, players back. Seattle coming off of that, emotional things. Let Russ cook, Mr. Unlimited, blah, blah, blah. The more and more I'm looking at this, the more and more I want to take the Rams.
This is a game that I could totally see the Rams stepping up. You know how I keep saying the Rams are hit or miss? And the Seahawks, they've allowed almost 3,000 passing yards on their defense this year. That's the most, in like 30-something years?
My guess is 30 years ago, it's probably the Cleveland Browns that gave that up.
It is unreal. I trust that Russell Wilson is going to get his stuff right. He doesn't play back-to-back bad games. With that, I'm going to take Seattle.
Okay.
Just with my gut, because I haven't even picked this game yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams win, but I'm taking Seattle.
I'm going to take the Rams -1.5.
Okay.
All right, now the Sunday night game, sure, again, they thought beginning of the season this is going to be an amazing game. We got Baltimore coming in New England. New England's looked like trash. Baltimore hasn't looked good as of late, but they're a very, very good team.
Lamar looked good, dude.
7.5, I think, is the point spread. I would take Baltimore in this. I just don't think New England's got the offense to keep up. This is going to be ugly.
So
I don't know if they hit the over, but I don't think that there's any way in hell the New England Patriots are going to win this game.
So you saw that Baltimore set the record, so they've scored 20 points 31 games in a row, not including playoffs.
Right.
New England can't even get to 20 points.
In 2 games.
So I think this is another easy pick of the week. I think Baltimore, I think Lamar is going to put on a show, especially on Sunday Night Football, going up against Cam. He's going to show him, what he used to look like.
Yeah.
I think Baltimore's got this.
Now, 73% of the money is on Baltimore. That's a heavy side, but New England's not quality enough for me to play the fade.
No.
Man, that's going to be tough to listen to in the fourth quarter. Al Michaels is going to be so done. He's going to be so done. He's going to be like, Chris, get your son, Jack. Get him on television.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm done. I got to take the 405 home. I got to get the hell out of here. The Monday night game.
Yes.
Minnesota Vikings. Dalvin Cook becoming like the 3rd player in NFL history to put up back-to-back 200-plus in 2 tutties. Jim Brown, and I don't remember the second one, but I want to say it was I swear it was Barry Sanders.
I believe it was.
At the Chicago Bears.
And he's averaging 10-plus yards. Boy.
He's
Dalvin
mauling
Cook
people. He is mauling people, which is nice to see.
Chicago is a mess.
Chicago stinks.
They don't know what they're doing.
They are who we thought they were.
Exactly.
But Minnesota's not going to let them off the hook.
No.
Rest in peace, Denny Green. The Chicago Bears defense, Super Bowl contenders. Offense, Division III, should be playing on Thursday nights on MAC Action Football.
Yep.
They're terrible. Can you go back to Mitch Trubisky because Nick Foles is not the answer?
They're not going to.
They're not going to. Chicago's +3. It could be +4.5. It doesn't matter. Minnesota Vikings win by a touchdown or better in this game. I don't think it hits the over. I don't even know what the over is, but I can tell you Chicago doesn't score enough points to hit any over.
No, I'm taking Minnesota. This is an easy pick. I think Dalvin Cook is looking money. I mean, he is shaking people. It is amazing to watch him right now.
See him healthy and see what he does and transforms on that offense. Their defense, maybe they gave up a little too soon.
Yeah.
Trading in Dockway, who already had 5 sacks. You trade him thinking you're in fire sale. Now you guys I think you got a long road to catch up to be in the playoff race. But the bottom line is they win this game. I think this game and next game, they're back to 500. Anything can happen. So
as long as Cousins doesn't turn it over, I think is if they control the turnovers, then Minnesota hands down will win.
It's going to be very interesting to see. This is a good weekend of football.
Yeah.
All the games, like I said, you could almost go pick 'ems on any side, except for the Green Bay game. That pretty much should be in the bag. Maybe not point-wise, but they're going to win that game.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, New Orleans is going to win that game. Pittsburgh's going to win that game. Baltimore's going to win that game.
Yep.
Chicago's going to win that game. The Tennessee-Indy game could go either way. Tampa Bay, Carolina, it could, but Tampa Bay's going to win that game.
I think
Philly, the Giants could go anyway. Houston, Cleveland could go anyway. Washington, Detroit, anyway. Buffalo, Arizona, anyway.
Yeah.
The Raiders, they probably should win that game. So the Raiders, yeah, but that Chargers game could go anyway. There's a lot of games that go anyway.
I agree.
6 afternoon games on Sunday going up against the Masters. The NFL did this on purpose.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting. They want to flex their muscles. Be like, yeah, okay, let's see. If Tigers, the only caveat is if Tigers wearing red on Sunday and he's in the mix, then people are going to be tuning in. Other than that, people will be watching it on CBSSportsline.com.
Yeah. It's going to be all, I mean, God, everybody has their 2 TVs and putting split screens anyways. So, it's going to be, I'd love to see Tiger.
Absolutely.
But same point. First come.
Yeah, especially because I'm making bets here, and I'm not betting on golf. I don't know anything about golf.
No.
I got buddies texting on the on my gambling texts talking about all these guys that take and all this. Oh no. I don't get involved in that. That's out of my wheelhouse, bro.
So
out of my wheelhouse.
Let's talk about. So they approved to do an 8-game playoff if games get canceled.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. And then you also heard about the other interesting part with the whole raising somebody who's technically a minority.
Yeah, so it was not quite the way it was drawn out was a little convoluted, but essentially if they groom a coach into a position where they get hired with somebody else and or front office positions, teams can get awarded an additional 3rd round pick or 2.
So what happens is, for example, if Cleveland had somebody who was an assistant coach, the Niners end up hiring him as a head coach, you guys would get a 3rd round pick this year and then a 3rd round pick next year.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's interesting. I think it's definitely a step forward. I don't know if it's the right answer.
Kind of sounds like we're partisans, but
it sounds.
But I'll take if it's
but
what the stepping stone needs to be for people to get an equal opportunity
it's
in the coaching world, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, and the cool thing I thought about too is that it also counts even with women. So just as far as with even moving up in the coaching ranks or even into the front offices.
Although to help Cleveland hires a bunch of.
So
we're okay.
So I think it's really cool all around. Just that there's a lot of positives to it.
Good.
So
now for some non-football news, real quick. The Cy Young Awards were announced tonight, and the Cleveland Indians' Shane, not Justin Bieber, won the AL Cy Young unanimously. First time since Justin Verlander has won it unanimously. Well-deserved. He won the Triple Crown of baseball.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Felt like I was there. I felt like I was right there with him in spirit. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then in the NL, Bauer outage, Trevor Bauer, who was with the Indians last year. Love him to death. Love Trevor Bauer. Very upset to see him leave. Won the Cy Young this year. Well-deserved. He was the best pitcher in the NL. Now, baseball for the rest of the year is dead.
Yep.
Don't have to talk about it anymore, which I'm glad because it sounds like we're going to trade Francisco Lindor. So I may be boycotting the Cleveland Indians next year anyway. So this may strictly be football, folks.
So how about your game getting canceled this week?
Yeah, Ohio State, Buckeyes. Yeah, we're getting a bye week.
Blaming it on Maryland?
Yeah, what is Maryland's fault?
Okay.
The COVID stuff's on their end.
The COVIDs.
Yeah, it's the COVIDs, yeah.
It happens.
Not the co-eds, but the COVIDs.
And then there's there was like 2 or 3 other games that they're postponing. They're not canceling. Was it Mizzou? I think they're postponing.
Yeah, SEC had 4 games this week that are getting either canceled or postponed. LSU versus Alabama, postponed.
Yeah. It's just going to be interesting, I think, the more and more this happens. Like, how then are you going to take into? Are they going to? They're talking about opening up the playoffs, and I think this year would be the perfect year to have that caveat to see and kind of test it.
For the NFL or college?
No, for college. Excuse me.
I don't think they'll do it.
I don't think they will either. But I think it would be the perfect excuse to open it up.
It would be to add 2 more teams. It would be.
Because I mean, it's going to be so hard to. There's going to be so many people that have so many different.
People are going to have to put their bias aside and say, even though Ohio State played 8 games instead of 9 or 7 games, but they went 7-0.
Right.
They are better than a 10-game played USC team, or not USC because they're not there, but any of the other, like
or Big Ten,
any of those. Yeah, I don't care if I'm 3 games or even 4 games back. If they're undefeated and they are the powerhouse team in that event, they would be there. You know that. So it's like don't put they didn't play enough games. You know, Ohio. And again, I'm going. This is strictly forget the Big Ten right now. This is Ohio State. You know that Ohio State is one of the top 4 teams in the nation. Period. Okay. So they shouldn't be penalized if they miss games based on, we know this already.
Well, nobody should, but what if you have 10 teams that are undefeated? How are you? I mean, that's what you're saying.
Okay, yeah. So is Liberty better than Clemson? No. Is Coastal Carolina better than Alabama? No.
Correct.
They're going to be undefeated.
We've seen all those where they come in, but at the same point, everybody's going to have their argument. Everybody's going to show.
But let me ask you, are you taking a 10-win undefeated Carolina Coastal team over a 7-0 Ohio State team?
Oh, hell no.
Okay. That's kind of the point I'm making is, are you taking a 10? Let me ask you this. Are you taking a 10-1 Notre Dame team over a 7-0 Ohio State team?
Possibly.
Because that's where it comes into question, because they did lose, but they played more games. And they beat a number 1 because they beat Clemson. So
but without
that is
Trevor
where
Lawrence, that's the
still a number 1. Guess what?
Correct.
10 years from now, when they're recruiting, they're going to go, we beat Clemson number 1 on Saturday.
And then everybody stormed the field, which if I was Clemson, I would be pissed. You have to be under so much protocol with this whole COVID stuff, and you just let all those fans run and be around everybody. I'm not saying it's not right, because it's exciting. It's a huge win. But
it was a suspense. It was a suspension of disbelief. These kids didn't realize that they were back. That it was COVID. They were like, "We just beat the number 1 team, and we're going to storm the field." Yeah. Just wasn't even paying attention. They weren't in there. Yeah,
I get the excitement. At the same point, they obviously Notre Dame allowed it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, let me ask you: how do you stop that?
How every other stadium stops it by having security?
Yeah, but they don't have enough security to stop it. Yeah, not every team. There's a lot of them storm the field and pull down the goalpost, bro. So
no,
you could have 20 cops and they're going to get 20 people.
Correct.
There's 15,000 rushing the field.
I get it. I'm just saying from Clemson's standpoint, like you just lost your quarterback for 2 weeks because he was under protocol for COVID.
Let me ask you, if they were that worried, he shouldn't have been on the sidelines.
Why? Or you should have left early.
No, I'm saying I'm saying if he was out of the game because of being in COVID protocol, and they held him out precautionary the next week, and he's standing on the sideline, he shouldn't have been around the team. Period.
Correct. But it's.
I get it.
It's all. Oh man, this thing is just.
There's layers
ridiculous.
Upon layers,
dude. It's
a
so
stinky
ridiculous.
onion. It's a stinky onion.
It's getting frustrating, but it keeps things exciting, I guess.
It does. So, huge slate of games on Saturday for college football. Huge slate of games for NFL on Sunday. The weather turned here in Arizona. It's been cool out. That's why I look like I work on the Dutton Ranch in Yellowstone. This is our time of year because the rest of the time we're melting.
Yep.
Going to be outside a little bit more. It's nice. Thanksgiving's coming up. Can't wait for that. We've got an exciting next couple of weeks. Food, family, friends, all the good stuff.
Yes.
Hopefully, for y'all in California, 10 people, keep it underneath 2 hours, no singing. I'm talking to you, Bowers, no singing. I heard you guys are big singers.
Oh, my goodness. Jesus. You're ridiculous.
But with that being said, James out west.
I'm Ryan Rooks.
Y'all have a good one. Be safe. Be kind. Have fun.
One love. Thanks, y'all.